Let's welcome Dr. Rader.
你好。I'm very happy to be with you today.
法会说他非常高兴今天能跟大家在一起。
Perhaps the one thing that was not mentioned about my background is that I'm now a professor at Tsinghua University in Beijing.
那还有一个新的这个 title 就是北京清华的教授。
I teach 3 classes there every year.
他每年在那上3门课。
Now today we have a very interesting topic.
今天要讲个非常有趣的题目。
Patent value and patent quality.
他今天要跟大家介绍专利的价值跟品质。
I have probably attended 20 or 30 conferences around the world discussing patent quality.
他在全世界讨论这个议题超过了20-30个场次。
I can tell you with great confidence that no one can accurately define what a quality patent is.
因为他是全世界最知名的教授啊，所以其实他知道没有人真的可以定义专利的价值跟品质。
No one can really tell you how to produce a quality patent.
那也没有人能告诉你怎么样真正产生一个非常有价值的专利。
And I can tell you with more than 30 years of experience that I have never seen a perfect patent.
在他过去30年的职涯，从来没有看过一个真正完美的专利。
They all have significant flaws, errors, and deficiencies.
那他觉得其实专利一定有它不完美的地方。
I have learned that the best way to judge patent quality is by its economic value.
但是他觉得怎么样评断价值，应该是从经济方面来考量。
And so, I will give you the whole point of my speech in my first sentences.
所以他一句话就可以帮大家做一个总结。
Patents are property, and property only is valuable if it gives some economic return.
他说专利是个资产，但是除非它能够经济上来回馈你，不然就没有意义。
This isn't going to work, is it, Mei-Hsin?
I can do it for you.
I'm going to try and quickly summarize some of the elements that create commercial value in patent property rights.
那他要跟大家介绍怎么样创造专利的价值。
We have to move quickly if we have back one. The property value really depends upon its accurate estimation of its worth. We call this valuation.
那怎么样去评价，是从它怎么样去做一个有效的计算方式。
Now, these property rights have many different uses in the marketplace. I'm not going to have time to discuss that with you today.
那专利有很多应用的机会跟场合，但是他没有办法很详细在这么短的时间跟大家做一个介绍。
I can tell you that I just came from Huawei in Shenzhen, where we spent a week discussing how Huawei should use different patents.
他刚刚从华为来，那教华为如何 有效、正确的利用专利。
But their use really depends on their worth. The worth can be divided into two categories. First are the legal factors. These are the points most people talk about when they talk about patent quality.
那讨论专利价值的时候跟品质的时候，其实有两个层面。他先讨论法律的层面。
They are really talking about whether the patent can withstand legal challenges.
那你的专利要经得起法律的检验。
I won't have time to teach you my whole patent law course on the various legal challenges to patents, but most of them deal with either the subject matter or the prior art, whether they have made a sufficient advance in technology to deserve a patent.
那现在他说他30分钟内是没有办法把30年经验告诉大家，但是专利很重要的一件事就是你比先前技术是不是有进步性？
You did well. That sentence went too long. Go ahead. The next one. Once you have determined that you've made enough of an advance over prior technology, you still have to define the patent's limits accurately.
那专利的要件还有它的限制，我们都必须很小心的来定义。
This is an extremely difficult task that involves some of the greatest legal talents.
那对很多法律专家来讲，这是非常困难的，就像大家说怎么去分解那个 claim chart。
You must draft a claim in language that defines the new technology so that everyone understands the limits.
所以现在这个你在写专利的时候，那个语言必须要能够定义你的科技。
This claim becomes the fence around your property, defining its borders.
那权利项就是你专利的权利的这个围墙。
But think about this a minute. You are trying to define something that has never existed, a new invention.
那但是你现在要了解，你正在定义一个新的技术。
And you must define it in terms that are already used in other contexts and therefore can be misleading.
那你还要了解你比先前所有领域应用到的技术有什么样子的进步跟差异。
Once you have drafted your claim, then it can be read by others, and this is where it gets very difficult.
还有你写出来的权利项是大家都要来检验的，那就非常的困难。
Now this chart is only meant to show you how complex it is to determine the meaning of language that defines technology.
那么这一张 slide 解释了哪些基础的要件，你要怎么样来定义你的权利项？
When I teach my patent law course, we would spend about an hour on each of those little dots.
那其中每个小点都要讲1个小时以上。
And there would be many cases that illustrate how these principles work.
而且有很多的案例必须拿来解释里面每一个要点。
I only want you to see how complex it is.
它只是要让你了解这里面是非常复杂的。
Let's go on. So now you see there is great difficulty in showing your patent is legally sound and well defined.
它只是要让你了解说你的专利在权利上面是在法律上具有相当的意义。
That is only part of the question of the patent's value.
这只是我们如何来讨论专利价值的一部分而已。
Let's go on to the economic factors.
那现在我们要讨论经济方面的定义。
The economic principles you apply to value the patent vary according to the market where you are using the patent.
那在市场上怎么样使用你的专利，才能最大化它的价值，是现在很时兴的议题。
You can sell your property outright. You can license or rent your property, or you can take your property to court and acquire value in damages.
你可以授权你的专利，你可以转让你的专利，你可以出售你的专利，你也可以到法院去告可能的侵权人，取得你应该有的经济价值。
I'm just going to quickly summarize each of those areas. In the sale area,
那他现在从业务方面来讨论这个专利价值。
the patent value, again, is going, the sales value will depend on two factors. One, is it legally strong? Those are the factors we just talked about a minute ago.
他说呢，那从经济方面也要考虑两件事，他必须在法律上是很有坚强的实力。
The other factor is how widely is the technology used in the marketplace.
另外就有多少人使用它，扩展性有多强。
And so you see, if the patent has already been litigated, proven valid, and it is used by Fortune 500 companies, it is at the top of this pyramid and very valuable.
那最顶尖的专利当然就是 Fortune 500这些知名公司或广大群众所使用的专利。
Further down, you have patents that have not been proven valid and have fewer uses.
那如果使用者很少，就是最下面这一层，量很多，使用的人很少。
This is a different presentation of essentially the same idea. If it's a tested patent with wide market usage, it is very valuable.
那这就跟刚刚的意思一样，就是如果它经过法律的考验，而且又大家使用，那么价值就是最高。
I am currently involved in 5 or 6 big patent deals where one party is selling a vast number of patents to another party.
他参与过很多大批的专利的这个转让跟交易。
I cannot talk about those because they're all confidential.
就是因为他们都是属于不可揭露的资讯。
But I put together this list of some famous deals from about 7 or 8 years ago.
但是7、8年前的这个资料，他整理了给大家来看。
You can see that the deals differ. And this shows you how many patents were sold.
你可以看到有多少专利数量出售。
Some of them are very big portfolios. Some are smaller.
有些是大批的专利，有些是少量的家族。
And you see the value per patent can vary from very low to very high.
那专利的每一个专利的价值也可以有很大的差异，从很低到很高都有。
If we had a little time, I could tell you why they are high and low for almost all of these.
因为他是这产业的专家，如果有时间，他会再跟大家解释这里面高高低低的差异理由在哪里。
But the reason is what I told you before. Are the patents strong and valid, and do they have a wide usage?
那当然，最基本的原则就是法律上够不够强，还有使用者够不够多。
This deal here with Microsoft,
比如说微软的专利，
where the patents were valued at over $1 million apiece. Notice the technology, internet, wide usage.
比如说微软在那个网络方面的专利，一个可以高达100万美金以上。
And these were very strong patents from AOL, one of the originators of the internet service market.
那这专利的来源是美国线上非常有名的这个专利运营。
What I want you to see is how much business is done using patents as property. Some of you may do this economic work for your life.
那我们当中大家都在使用这些专利。
I put this slide in here only because I work for this company sometimes, and they have held auctions to auction patents.
那他曾经参与过这个PPT 上面的很多案件，那这里面就是有关于专利怎么样去做拍卖。
We'll actually have an auction in Shanghai early next year.
那这是下年初会在上海出售的一批专利。
But again, you can see that there are vast amounts of money changing hands to acquire patents.
那你会发现几经转手，专利的价值会越来越高。
Let's go on. This just talks about the process. It's a difficult process to ascertain the value of patents, make offers, negotiate.
刚刚那个 slide 是有关专利交易的流程。
Let's go on to the next category of property use, licensing.
那接下来他要跟大家介绍有关于专利授权。
I think I will tell you my favorite licensing story.
他要告诉大家他最喜欢的故事。
It comes from an English case at the end of the 19th century.
这是英国19世纪的故事。
Now I'm going to make all of you judges, and you have to decide this case.
他现在要让大家当法官了，由你们来决定这个案件怎么判。
There was a young delivery boy who had to deliver packages.
那现在呢，有一个年轻的小朋友，他专门送邮包。
He had heavy packages, so he needed a horse.
他需要一只马来帮忙送货。
He saw an unused horse in a stable that was very poorly fed, very poorly taken care of. It was a very decrepit and sad horse.
那他看到有一匹没人看过的马，又瘦又可怜。
He took the horse and used it to deliver his packages.
他就把这一只不知道是谁的马拿来帮忙他送邮件。
The horse owner came and said, "You're going to have to pay me."
那个有一天，那个马的主人找到他说：“那你要付我钱啊！你把我的马拖去送货。”
But the young man said, "After I used the horse, I fed the horse, I brushed the horse, I changed the straw in the horse's stable, and now the horse is much stronger and better than before.
他说呢，可是啊，我把这个马现在照顾的又肥又壮又快乐。
So he said, I don't owe you any damages at all
所以我一点都不欠你啊。
because I've made the horse better.
现在我让这只马变得更有价值了。
Owner of the horse said, no, you have to pay me anyway.
但是马的主人就说不行不行，你一定要付我钱。
Who wins the case?
各位决定谁应该要付钱，谁不应该付钱。
How many think the young boy wins the case because he actually made the horse better?
大家认为是那个马的那个送邮差的那个小男孩应该赢这个案件呢？
There
认为
were
他的
no
举手
damages.
不需
In
要
other
赔钱的
words.
举手。
How many think that? Your judges, you all
现
have
在
to
你们都是
vote.
法官了，是陪审团了。
Okay. How many think, no, he has to pay damages anyway?
OK，那个马主人应该获得赔偿的，请举手。
You're very good judges, by the way.
他说各位都是非常有潜力的未来法官。
That's exactly what the House of Lords found in England.
这就是英国法的判决。
But the key to the case is, what did he have to pay?
但是现在有个很重要，好吗？那就是要付钱，应该付什么费用？
The answer is he would pay the rental value of the horse.
他是应该付租马的钱呢，
And he would pay the rental value of the decrepit, sad horse that he borrowed in the first instance.
所以他是应该付当初那一只瘦瘦可怜的马的那个租用价值呢。
Now the horse owner would want the rental value of a fancy horse that was worth much more.
还是应该现在这只又强壮又快乐又健康的马的这个租金呢？
But determining the rental value of the property is once again the key.
那怎么样评断到底要付少钱还是多钱呢？这个又是很重要的一件事了。
Let's just push. Go ahead again. Just go through. This just shows how royalties help patent owners invest in doing more research and advancing their business.
所以这件事就告诉大家，如果你不回馈这些专利权人，那他就没有更多的资源可以投资未来更多的研究，创造更多好的创新发明。
In U.S. law, we determine this rental value using the 15 factors in this famous Georgia Pacific case.
过去在美国有15个原则，那是基于这个 Georgia Pacific 的这个案件所产生的。
Now, I would once again love to show you each of the 15 factors.
他也很希望可以跟大家介绍，但今天时间有限。
But they really fall in 3 categories.
但是主要在3个领域里面，
I will show them to you quickly. The first categories deal with the cash value of a patent property right.
刚刚那15个原则的第一个类别就是有关于现金价值的评估。
You usually determine how much cash you could get from a patent right by examining either earlier rental licenses on the same patent or comparable licenses on similar patents.
所以他说，你可
Long
以
sentence again.
你可以评估之前类似的专利，或者是平均价值的专利，他们都是有怎么样的一个权利金比例。
This can be a very difficult task, determining if one license is comparable to another if one technology is similar to another.
但是现在你要去找到相似或可比较的专利，也又是另外一个议题。
But this is one category.
这只是其中一个价值评估的类别。
The next category is called cost-based valuation.
那另外一个类别就是从费用方面来评估。
This generally deals with how much technical advantage has this new invention acquired over the prior art.
那这个就要考量你有多少相对于先前技术的进步性。
What value do you get that the prior art didn't give you?
那你到底做了什么事是先前技术不能提供的？
I like one example here that shows how this works.
他很喜欢这里面一个案例。
If a patented pharmaceutical drug heals you faster and saves 3 days in the hospital, then its value, that one pill's value, is the value of 3 days in the hospital.
那现在说，如果有一颗药让你可以少住院3天，又变得更快复原，那么难道它的价值可以高到3天的住院价值吗？
Since a hospital costs about $10,000 a day, this one pill can be worth $30,000.
那如果住院1天是1万，那这药不就要值3万了吗？
I wish I could tell you about a technology I am trying to sell in China.
他很希望他能告诉你，他是要卖给中国的技术内容，但是因为这是保密的。
It is the next generation of cancer drugs.
那是一个癌症有关的用药。
When I talk about it, I say it cures many kinds of cancer.
他只能告诉你说，它可以治疗很多种癌症。
And it does. I've seen the numbers.
他看到研究报告也真的是如此。
But the scientists always grab me and say, you can't use the word cures.
但科学家说，你不能用治愈这2个字。
You have to say instead that it controls the cancer.
他说，你必须说它能够控制病情。
Okay. I always comply with what the scientists say.
他很尊重科学家。
But there is some amazing biotechnology that lies in your future.
但是很多的科技真的让大家的生命越来越有意义。
The last kind of economic valuation involves market-based valuation.
那另外一类的评价是从市场方面来考量。
In this, we are judging what demand this new product created in the market.
那现在就要看说它替市场产生了什么样的价值。
How many people bought a new product
多少人买了
because
你的
of
产
the
品？
invention?
因为这个发明，你愿意去买它吗？
I make these sound quite simple. Actually, I have been in trials that lasted 6 weeks that devoted 2 weeks to each of these categories.
但是其实讨论这些事情是非常复杂的。
I have listened to 5 or 10 economic experts testify on all of these topics.
那他听过很多不同的专家在做这些价值评估。
We'll move along. Let's move past that. This just teaches the timing. Keep going. Come back. Yeah, go there. I mentioned this as the last slide on licensing. These are probably 4 of the most successful licensing companies in the world.
他现在给大家看世界上4个最成功有使
And
用
you
专利授权公
notice
司。
that in 2014, they are making between $20 and $100 billion a year in patent licenses.
你可以看到这些公司赚钱是从数百亿来计算。
The final category of use of patents is, of course, in the courtroom.
那另外一个方式使用专利就是在法院里面实施你的权利。
Now this is the area where I spent most of my life, and I'm going to go through it the quickest.
那他的一生都努力在这个领域，他很快的跟大家说明一下。
In the United States, you have two options: to go to a district court or the ITC.
你可以在地方法院或者到那个国际贸易委员会来做你的投诉。
District litigation has distinct problems in the U.S.
但是在一般地方法院起诉有很多的问题。
It is too expensive.
很贵。
It takes too long.
时间很长。
And the results are too uncertain.
那结果是很不可预期的。
Go ahead. Go ahead. This just shows you the primary cost of litigation in the U.S. happens because of our discovery system.
因为在美国做前面的案前调查是非常昂贵的。
In a big patent case, the cost of the litigation will be at least $5 million.
你大概要花500万美金打官司。
Most of that is the discovery cost.
大部分都是在前面做 discovery 的这个过程。
Go ahead, Mei-Hsin. I wish I could tell you about each step of this process, but this just shows that it's quite long.
现在只能告诉你这个流程很长。
In the U.S., which court you appear in is very important.
Pardon me.
The court you appear in is very important.
你在哪里起诉很重要。
Perhaps I can summarize by saying, because of the cost and the time and the uncertainty, the number of cases in district courts have gone down each year.
但是美国的系统在做进步，所以这费用逐渐在降低了。
Turn. Go again. Instead, Asia is becoming a leader in IP filing and litigation.
因为中国的崛起，数量上面已经从美国移到中国。
Germany is a primary attractive case to litigate
德
in
国以
Europe.
前也在欧洲是非常大家很喜欢去做诉讼的一个国家。
But the most important development has been the rise of China as a place to litigate and acquire value for your intellectual property.
中国因为人口红利变成整个市场的重心。
China has 18 new courts where you can litigate patents, and they are quite proficient.
中国现在总共有18个专利相关的法院。
I'll tell you one quick story. I was asked by a major U.S. corporation to file 8 patent cases any place I wanted.
有一天，他被要求说，他可以找8个很棒的法庭来做诉讼。
And they listened carefully as to whether I would send them to Delaware or Texas or California.
那本来人家预期他回答说，到底会送到美国的Delaware 或者是德州或者是加州这3个以前大家很常去的法院。
I filed all 8 of them in Guangzhou.
结果法官建议大家去广州诉讼。
And when they heard that the Guangzhou cases would be complete in 9 months with a certain injunction, they applauded my decision.
那大家非常鼓掌，法官给了建议，因为广州9个月就结案了。
Well, patent value is increasing in Asia as it decreases in the United States.
专利价值在亚洲正在攀升，在美国逐渐的下滑。
And therefore, to acquire value, very often, Asia is the best choice.
那怎么样产出它的价值？亚洲现在变成最热门的市场。
There is one final thing I want to mention. I go from here to Tokyo.
给我们演讲之后，法官要去日本。
In Tokyo, I will help create an international arbitration center.
那他要帮日本建立一个国际仲裁中心。
This is very important because technology crosses all borders.
因为技术是全球性的。
And companies often sue in their own home countries, hoping to gain an advantage.
那大部分人都在自己国家做诉讼，希望获得优势。
And then the courts fight against each other
那法
for
院之间的
jurisdiction.
判决又不一样。
I can tell you a couple stories, but my time is too brief.
今天没有时间跟大家做详细的说明。
The solution to this problem of multiple lawsuits in multiple countries is to have one global decision that will set a royalty license.
那其实大家就是希望在众多的法院当中寻求一个合理的授权的一个价值。
That can be done through arbitration.
但是他认为用仲裁的方式不是更方便吗？
Our Tokyo Arbitration Center will have the leading patent scholars from Europe, the US, China, Japan, and Korea, all serving to resolve these disputes.
那他会邀请欧洲、中国、日本、美国的专家来做这个仲裁中心的委员。
We will have a rule that the dispute must be done within 1 year.
那他希望仲裁的结果都是在1年之内能够获得终结。
And we will even give an opportunity to appeal within the arbitration system.
那他也希望这里面有一个上诉的机制。
This may be the best alternative for global patent litigation.
他认为全球不断的专利诉讼，这应该是一个解决方案。
Well, to return to my one final conclusion,
那他现在要告诉他的结论。
patent quality really depends upon patent value.
那专利的品质其实要从价值上来做评断。
Patent value, of course, has to be determined through all the processes we just discussed.
那专利的价值就由我们刚刚所叙述的所有的方式来做评断。
This is a great career for many of you, and I hope to see you soon working beside me in the IP field.
那这是一个非常好的很棒的职业，他希望大家以后可以追随他的脚步，从事这个行业。
谢谢。
谢谢大家，Thank you。